Okay, it's time for the ever-popular graphing calculator questions. In this one, they want us to graph 3 different parabolas on the same coordinate plane. So when we get to our graphing calculators, we have to hit our y equals button, make sure everything is cleared out for all 10 equations. We type in each equation separately. So x squared, my x is next to my alpha below my mode button. I have a squared button, or I can use the caret too. I like to use just the squared button. Once you have your first equation in, you can press the down key. Now I have 1/4 x squared. Every time I have a fraction, I must put it in using parentheses. 1 divided by 4 and my parentheses. I have x squared again. Press the down key to get my third one. This time I have 4x squared. I check to make sure that I haven't missed anything. It all matches up with my 3 equations, and I can press graph. What should appear is 3 different parabolas. If your view is different, remember, you can always change your view to the standard view by pressing zoom and then choosing standard. In my case, that's 6. And we'll just watch it graph again. The trick here is going to be, it says to label each graph. So I could go through and sketch all 3. One's going to be real wide. One's going to be normal. And one is going to be pretty skinny or narrow. Trick is going to be, how do I label all of them? Well, one thing that could be useful and helpful is to use different colors. If you don't have access to use different colors, you can put some as dashed lines and some as solid lines. You could put some with dots. I might go in here and say, okay, I'll make my narrow one dashed line so I can erase parts of them. Now it's going to be easier to see. And now I can see a little easier what my 3 parabolas are. If I want to label them now, my graphing calculator can tell me that as well. What I want to do is hit the trace button. I see right in the middle here, I'm on y equals x squared. It tells me in the top left-hand side. But it's hard to tell right there which parabola I'm on. If I press the arrow to the left, as far as I can go until I can really differentiate, that's on the middle parabola. That makes sense. As I look at these 3 equations, I have my parent function. In this case, a is less than 1 but bigger than 0. So this one should be my wide one. This one is my parent. And this one should be narrow. So if I check all of those in my graphing calculator, I can see I definitely have the parent one correct. If you press the down button, it'll flash to the wide one. That's 1/4 x squared. That makes sense. That matches. And if you press the down button again, it goes to y equals 4x squared. And if you just keep pressing the button to the right, eventually it'll pop back into there, and you can see you're on the narrow one. So the last step would be to come back to your graphs and label each one. You could go to the narrow one right above the arrow and label it as y equals 4x squared. This is your parent function, y equals x squared. This is your wide function, y equals 1/4 x squared.